Alright guys, good morning. Mr. G here with Crossout, and today we're doing a shotgun guide video. We're talking about all the shotguns in game and how to use them. So one of the first things we're going to need to talk about today is co-driver. You're going to want to use your Bulldog co-driver because you're going to get shotgun damage of 5%, durability bonus of 5% as well, and an optimal and max range bonus of 5%, as well as a cooling rate bonus of 5%. It's a super focused co-driver around shotguns and one of the best co-drivers you can get in the game all around. Another big question we're going to talk about today is coolers versus radiators. Well, you're probably going to want at least one cooler in your build. But if we're to look at the perks on the purple coolers and purple radiators, here's the thing. Has a higher efficiency at lower speed. Literally, you never want to be going a low speed in a shotgun build, ever. So meaning that the perk for the cooler is going to be significantly worse than the perk for the RN seal or the radiator that you're going to have there. So let's take a look at the perk on this one. Has more efficiency at a higher speed, 30% at 30 kilometers per hour. I think some guys were saying it maxes out at 30% at 70 kilometers per hour. I think that's a typo there. Not 100% sure. So you're usually best off running rads, particularly if you're going to be starting out with a low power score build. 3 Luparas and 2 radiators is a good build. It's a solid starter build. Get yourself a growl cab, use lunatic parts, make it light, make it fast, because this doesn't do a lot in the way of damage. But you got to get close and you got to shoot away with these bad boys. And you're going to try and strip weapons off your enemies and circle them to death. That, or you're going to be doing strafing runs. But strafing runs are more for the things like the Needhogs and the Junk Bow that are reload based. So you're going to mostly be trying to outturn your opponent. You're going to want to make sure that you can turn tighter than your opponent, because you're going to get in a lot of these turning circle death matches where you're just shooting away, trying to de-gun your opponent first. And this is just a really good starter build for new players. 3 Luparas, 2 of the white radiators. That'll get you off started on your first shotgun build. Next up, we're going to talk about Sledgehammers. Yes, this is Munch's car from story mode. Sledgehammer is pretty much just an exact reskin of the Lupara with slightly better stats. You can see it's got a little bit better damage. It's going to have a little bit more durability. Still only going to take 3 points of energy. So essentially it's just a blue Lupara shotgun. It's not going to play any differently than the Lupara is. It's going to just bum bum bum. You're going to notice though that they don't do a lot of damage at range, like at 100 meters. You're just doing zip. 50, you can do some damage, but your optimal range is probably around 25 meters or less with both the Lupara and the Sledgehammer. Okay, next up we've got the Spitfire. It just is a little bit different in that it has a higher rate of fire. It's going to have a much bigger hitbox, but you can kind of armor it in like this. So you're going to notice it's got a little bit better fire rate, and that's about it. This build just looks cool. It's not super practical. They've put an oppressor on there, which doesn't do any bonus for these because they don't use reload. They use just cooling. And you're going to see, once again, doesn't do a lot of damage at 50, but we do better damage at 25 meters. These things do okay. They also have a limited firing arc, so you're only going to have about 180 degrees of firing arc with these. Yeah, you don't see a ton of people using them, but they work. And then you can pair any of these together. I mean, you can do Spitfire, Sledgehammer, you can pair those together and mix and match those as you need to. Next up, we're going to talk about the Goblin, and the Goblin has a lot going for it. It's probably the best shotgun in the game for a number of reasons. We'll talk about those now. It only takes 2 energy right out the door, which is kind of ridiculous. It also does melee damage. You can see it's got these spikes built into it here, but not only that, parts of incoming damage pass through the weapon. It has pass through, kind of like frames or grills, that damage will pass through it. And they're really easy to armor and put inside of a build. So you'll see these on wheels, but what you're really going to see these on, look at that. They don't have a great firing arc. I mean, really, you only got maybe 20 degrees firing arc, which is not a huge deal. If you're getting right next to somebody, it's not really going to matter. You're going to see these used with Goliaths a lot. And if someone's really evil, they're going to use extra Goliaths, and they're going to use a Bastion. And just, these are really, really easy to armor in between Goliath tracks, making them super hard to destroy. Yes, this build's slow. We're going to not catch anybody in it easily. But if we do, they're going to have a very hard time getting rid of our weapons, because they're just stupidly armored. Goblins are ridiculously good. Ridiculously good shotgun. They probably need to be more than 2 energy or have some kind of nerf. That's how good they are. Next up, we have the Thunderbolt, which is your purple level shotgun. There's really not a lot to say about it, but it gets a damage stacking as you drive. So you're going to want to pair that thing with like a cheetah, speed that process up a little bit. And you can also pair it with a Sledgehammer just fine, because these weapons all have similar fire rates and similar ranges. So anything in the shotgun family, for the most part, you can use those okay together. So you can see as we drive, we get that damage stacking bonus, and that's really all there is to it. It's an okay shotgun, nothing fancy. It's a decent shotgun. It's a purple shotgun, and you can see that it's going to do a lot more damage than its blue counterparts. Significantly more damage there. That's about it. But it's going to run you 4 points of energy instead of 3. Next up, we've got the legendary shotgun, and this is when you start to see the meta wedge really become a thing, because at this power score, people are going to be running Bigfoots. You're also going to see people run the favorite cab, because you're going to get that cooling bonus that you can run when you're in the heat of combat. Let's say you need to cool down your guns. Well, you can just right click and use the special ability from this cab to cool your guns off. So let's say we're firing away here. We can jam the enemies with the perk on this, which is kind of a cool perk. It's saved my life before a few times. And then we can pop the cab there, and we can cool our guns down instantly. So every 200 meters passed by the car gives 1 charge that's spent when shooting, which guarantees to disable the enemy's weapon rotation. So that's new. You used to not have to drive to get the charge up. It used to just be a random chance to disable enemy weapons. So they've kind of added it to the user interface, and they let you stack up to 2 times. So they've tweaked the perk on that a little bit, although it is one of the wimpiest legendary weapons out there. You see people run these, but you don't see them a ton. Not as much as you used to. But you'll notice it does do stupid amounts of damage, but it's going to run you 5 energy, which is quite a bit. Last but not least, the worst relic weapon in the game, which is this quad shotgun thing, and it's broken for a couple reasons. Basically, the bottom barrels will get blocked by any kind of armor you put in front of this, and they're not going to want to shoot. Also has a huge hitbox, and it doesn't really have that much durability. It looks like it does great DPS and damage on paper, but you're going to notice if I aim down at all, look at this. This is where I'm aiming. Also, this build needs Master Jack because it's so heavy. Look at that. If I aim down at all like that, we literally can't fire it. Yeah, this build's a little bit on the thick side, which is a little bit heavy. So just like other shotguns, this is not going to do really any damage at long range. But as we get closer, really needed to put in Master Jack level 15 to run this one. There it is. You're going to go ahead and you're going to try and de-gun guys, but you're only going to get about 5 shots in this until you overheat. The person that made this one just put a ridiculous amount of coolers in here. I would have went with more rads personally. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. But guys, that's it for shotgun builds. I hope you guys found this useful, and shotguns are great weapons for new players to the game. So if you're a new player, they're a fun play style. They're especially fun to play if you have friends. And if you need friends, do come check out the Discord. Links in the description. And if you feel like buying Mr. G a coffee today, you can check out the Patreon as well. Absolutely do not have to do that, but it does make my day. Getting those extra coffees from you guys. Okay, enough shameless promotion. Be good, hug your moms. I'm going to catch you guys later. Mr. G out.